Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is KateSemeniuk and I'm so happy to be here with you. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel because then I know what you want for me to record for you and what content you want me to put out there. Like and subscribe. And today's topic is fear of getting in trouble. This fear, I haven't seen a lot of people who don't have that fear. Usually most people do. So let's talk about symptoms, roots, and what can you do? Some simple steps, what can you do so that you don't actually care about if you get in trouble or not, because even this whole phrase, fear of getting in trouble, is very childish, right? It's very childish. It's like you're bringing back that fear from your childhood because your mind doesn't know time. Your subconscious mind doesn't know time, so you're still afraid to get in trouble. And you regress yourself and you get triggered and triggered and triggered every time you face any situation. So what are the symptoms of this fear? Fear of getting in trouble. Many times when I work with my clients, I help them go into hypnosis and I ask them, what is your biggest fear? And what does that little child fears the most? And they say that I will get in trouble. And that will mean that I'm not loved and I'm rejected and I failed. And that will mean that's it. That's the end. I don't know. I think I'm not going to survive. It's going to be very painful. I'm not needed. I'm not worthy. And all of those limiting beliefs that you can think about. So fear of getting in trouble. What are the symptoms? The first one is you avoid people who can get you in trouble. Like you'd always try to be good. You know, I'm a good girl, I'm a good boy, I always stay in the comfort zone, I don't get into conflicts, confrontations, so I'm okay, I will avoid. That person is dangerous, that is a difficult person, I'm gonna stay away. So you stay away and avoid people or situations that can get you in trouble, which means that sometimes you are suppressing your desires to stand up for yourself and maybe to speak up for yourself as well. Another symptom is excuses. Many times we unintentionally, it became such a big behavior that we make excuses. Even one comment, I remember that happened with me and my husband. So he would ask me a question and I will start to find excuses right away, even without answering. Like he will ask me like, "What, Kate, what's wrong? Like, why are you making excuses? I just asked the question. That was just a simple question." But for me, I already created scenarios in my mind that I am getting in trouble, though I knew I wasn't. How subconsciously, right, triggered I was from the past. So excuses is one of the symptoms that you are afraid of getting in trouble. Another symptom is lying or distorting information. So you know that if I tell the truth, it might get me in trouble. Because that's what happened when you were a child. When you were a child and you did say the truth, you got in trouble. And your mind just came up with this survival protective mechanism. Don't say the truth. Don't tell the truth because that's going to get you in trouble. And being in trouble means being in pain. And your mind doesn't like pain. Remember, your mind doesn't like pain. It will do everything impossible to get you out of that pain. However, your mind always doesn't understand that it inflicts even more pain by avoiding another type of pain. This is how it is. Another symptom of this fear is you sometimes drive cautiously or follow all the rules. You know, you're very cautious about anything. You go into the new environment, you, for example, attend an event, and you try to follow all the rules. You over-apologize. You say sorry every time because that helped you in the past. Somewhere in the past, you realize that if I say sorry many, many times, then it can get me out of trouble, out of pain, out of punishment. We'll talk about the roots and the causes of the fear of getting in trouble, but your mind at some point understood that that will get me out of punishment, judgment, criticism, whatever it was. Another one is you get really anxious about whatever is going to happen, about what you did. So every action you do in your life, you get anxious because what if I did it wrong? Even though there is no one to judge you. Even if you are at home by yourself, you do some actions, unconsciously you can get triggered, that you can get in trouble for that. Even though there is no one around you. Your mind has this obsessive forced thinking. It doesn't really realize, right, that there is no one, you're safe, no one is to punish you, but your mind still believes you are that 5-year-old girl. Sometimes we have dreams. It's another symptom that you have this fear of getting in trouble, and I had those dreams. Netflix couldn't compete, really, because my dreams are like Netflix TV shows. So you dream about that you got in trouble. So, for example, you're driving in your dream and you got stopped by the police, or you're overspeeding. And you understand that right now, in a second, I'm going to get in trouble. Or sometimes you are in the event, public speaking event, your biggest fear, for example, and people are judging you, you see them angry. So all the dreams is your unconscious mind. The deepest dreams are in your unconscious mind and in your dreams, right? So you can, even if you remember, of course, if you remember your dreams, it's very, very good to write them down, to journal them, because that will give you also an indication if you have that fear of getting in trouble. So another technique that we use to protect ourselves from this fear, from getting in trouble, is we are attacking or manipulating. So sometimes you feel like if I attack, that can disarm someone so that I don't get in trouble. That happens as well, and it's not your fault. At some point, maybe you saw that your mom and dad used the same technique, and they were the only available example for you. So you looked at them and you decided, okay, this is it. This is how it's going to be. So you started to adopt the same behavior. So you attack or you manipulate. You distort the information, manipulate people, or if you see that nothing helps, you start to become a victim. So victimize it. Oh, like it's all about them. It's all about, I'm this poor little girl, that you are starting to play a victim in order to protect yourself from getting in trouble. What are the roots of this fear? Because there is always a root. Any fear that enters your mind and your life that is not natural fear and just imaginary or dysfunctional fear, let's just say. I don't like that word, but let's use this word now. Every fear has a root. So one of the roots can be a religious family. If you have been growing up in a very religious family, your parents can inflict those fears that if you do this, the God will punish you. You'll get in trouble. Sometimes it was very, very scary scenarios, like, you're going to get your arms cut off, because you've stolen a candy from a jar. Sometimes that can get really, really intense. So if you are growing up in the religious family, you can have that fear of getting in trouble, that someone there is going to punish you. And then you become very fearful you start to believe that people can punish you as well. So another one is you want to be perfect, right? You want the root of this fear of getting in trouble is that you don't accept anything but perfect. So if I'm not perfect, then I will get in trouble. I will get criticized. By the way, fear of criticism, fear of judgment, fear of punishment also has this fear of getting in trouble there as well. When I work with clients and fears, I work like the whole cycle of fears. It's not only one. It's like the whole cycle. There's like a fan group of people. So another root of the fear of getting in trouble is punished initiative. At some point, you've made the belief that you can be punished. So you started to take actions, to be proactive, to show initiative, and you were punished for that. Very often, you will invite the fear of getting in trouble. Your mind will decide, no, that is trouble. Let's get you out of that. So we start to procrastinate, self-sabotage. It's the power of our mind. Mind wants to save you. It doesn't mean that it makes you unhappy. Your mind wants to save you. And sometimes we say, well, I didn't know. How would I know? Universe doesn't understand I don't know. It's, cause, consequence, cause, consequence. So it's not, the universe doesn't understand I don't know. Ignorant doesn't mean that we won't kind of answer for what we do, right? So if we, another root is fearful parents. So if you looked at your parents, they were always avoided conflicts, confrontation. They were always between each other. You could see that avoidant personality, behaviors. You always saw how they interacted between each other. It's a foundation how you might interact with your kids and your loved ones and your partner. So look at what your parents did in order to see if, do I do that still? Am I still afraid of getting in trouble? Because they were afraid of getting in trouble. They always told you, be a good girl, be a good boy, and you'll you stay out of trouble. Everyone will love you. I remember my mom was telling me that. Anyway, I understand why she did that. I completely understand, right? She wanted to protect me. So what can you do? First is work on your confidence. And it's easier said than done, but the first thing that you can do, exercise. When you work on your body and mind, you become more confident. So that fear will even leave your body and mind faster when you exercise and when you gain confidence. Another way is to imagine the worst scenario. And I usually do that in hypnosis. When the client is very fearful of a certain situation, like for example, breaking the driving rules or getting a fine for something, I always go, let's go into the worst scenario. And I guide them into that worst scenario so that they realize that nothing bad is happening, that everything is good and they are safe. And it helps a lot. You can do it by yourself. And if not, my contacts are in the description. You can contact me and we can work through your fears. But if not, you can still work on yourself. So you close your eyes and you imagine the worst scenario that can happen. And you just guide yourself, the worst, until you realize that it's okay. It's actually not that bad. So this is the way number 2. Another way is to change the words in your mind. Really, change the words in your mind. If who you're still afraid of, whose punishment you are still afraid of. Usually people come up with like, oh, my mom usually punished me, or she told me, oh, you'll get in trouble, I'll get you in trouble. We very often come up with a teacher's name, older siblings, mom, dad, coaches, mentors, someone who was in your life growing up. So whose punishment you're still afraid of? Sometimes people say God. And I was like, no. If you do everything from your open heart, from the place of kindness, then you won't get in trouble. Another way, it's a very good way, is to change the words in your mind. For example, I'm gonna get in trouble. Who cares about what I do and what I don't do? Even if I get in trouble, it's okay. So, and you keep saying that, reprogram your mind all the time, and that will help. It's not the fear that you're just like, boom, and you got rid of it. Though I've seen and I've did sessions that people actually became so confident in just one session. It's absolutely possible if you're committed. But always remember that any fear that you have invited as a child, you can kick out of your life when you are an adult. I wish you all the best. If you like this content, comment below, subscribe and like so that I put out even more value into my future videos, because I will know what you like and what you don't like. Be healthy emotionally and physically.